This lesson is about something that, if you're good at it, pretty much everything you play will sound great. And if you're not good at it, pretty much everything you play will sound bad. And of course, what I'm talking about is your time feel. About 8 months or so ago, I started getting really serious about working on my time feel. And what I came up with eventually was this 3-step process to work on it. So I kind of broke it into 3 separate things that I could work on one at a time and build my swing feel that way. Of course, everybody, a lot of people are going to say, well, you just need to play along with Wes or whatever. And I'm not arguing with that, but after having done a lot of that stuff, I kind of stepped back and thought about it and asked some other people who I thought had great time feel some questions. And this is what I came up with. So here are my 3 steps. Okay. Step 1, play even 8th notes. Step 2, play behind the beat. And step 3, accent some offbeats. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to go through all 3 of these individually, and I'm going to show you how I practice them. Okay. Step number 1, play even 8th notes. The reason I put this one first is because it's kind of like my way of getting a clean slate to work on, because guitar players tend to make all sorts of strange mistakes when they're learning jazz, and that their swing feel, they do all sorts of things, and this is my way of getting just even 8th notes. Every note is exactly the same length as the last. They're right on the beat. You're just aiming for right on the metronome. A lot of guitar players I hear starting out, they sound kind of like a horse galloping. It's like da 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 da, and you really don't want that, especially in a modern context. It's really outdated. So I'm going to demonstrate this now with a metronome on 2 and 4. And first I'm going to just try to demonstrate it by muting a string and just playing it on that one muted string with no notes. And I'm going to be trying to really lock in so that the pick and the metronome basically sound like the same thing, like there's no difference, which might take a second. So you might, you'll see me kind of calibrating as I go. And after that, I'm going to play a scale. I think I'm gonna play a bebop scale, like a F7 bebop, and show you what it'll sound like, just like that. Okay, step 2. This is where things start to get interesting. Play behind the beat. First of all, what does that even mean? Playing behind the beat means you are playing a little bit later than the band. So the drums are going to hit on the beat, and then you're going to play your notes just a split second after that. Why am I putting this on here? A lot of people talk about, this guy plays on top of the beat, this guy plays behind the beat, this guy switches back and forth sometimes. So why am I telling you you have to play behind the beat to play swing? And the answer is that pretty much everyone who has great time feel in a swing setting, like soloists, play behind the beat. Usually when people say this guy plays on top of the beat, it doesn't mean they're playing in front of the band. It means they're playing almost right when the band is, maybe just like a little bit after it even. But pretty much nobody would ever tell you to play like before the band hits, like the drums hit and then the guitar hits, either almost right then or after. And most of the really great players, if you take Pat Metheny, for example, and slow down one of his solos, if you slow it down enough, you'll start to hear how Pat is actually playing a split second after the drums. Okay, so to demonstrate this, I'm going to set my metronome to 2 and 4 again. And this time I'm going to mute a string and I'm going to play quarter notes instead of eighth notes. And I'm going to start with them right on the beat. And then I'm going to slowly fade them back so that the metronome is hitting before my pick. To me, I just kind of like make myself feel a little bit lazy and start getting lazy with my hand until I feel myself hitting after the metronome, and then I know I'm in the right spot, and I just try to hold on to that. And then after that, I'm going to double it and play eighth notes, but try to keep it in that same behind the beat spot. And then I'm going to do, just like I did in the last section, I'm going to play a F7 bebop scale, keeping it behind the beat. And this, getting to this point that I'm about to show you, took me a good 2 or 3 weeks of work, just, with a metronome and just trying to feel like, what does it feel like when I'm behind the beat? Because once you're playing eighth notes, there's no time to think about where on the beat you are. It's just something that you have to feel. You have to know what it feels like and be ready for it and make small adjustments automatically just based on how it feels, because the amount of time that you're behind the beat is really just too short to think anything logical. It's really just a feeling. But hopefully you can get a good idea of how far behind the beat I am in the first segment of this where I'm playing quarter notes. Okay, so now we have everything in place and we're ready to really make our time feel swing. To do that, we are going to start punching the offbeats really hard. I'm always going to be accenting offbeats, and it's not exactly every offbeat. It'll just sometimes be like a couple offbeats in a measure, or maybe even just one, or maybe more than one. I don't know exactly. It kind of varies, and it's hard to describe. So I think you really do have to transcribe some great players if you're not getting it. But eventually, it's just kind of something that you hear and you feel, and it'll start coming naturally. Anyway, here is me playing some F7 ideas over a metronome on 2 and 4, playing behind the beat with even eighth notes and accenting offbeats. Here's what it sounds like. Thanks a lot. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment if you enjoyed this video.